And we're back. This is everything for the month of November and December 2024. 2 months together because there was just some wonkiness with everything getting shipped to me due to issues with comic book distribution in North America. So lots to go through. Buckle up. This is going to be a long video. So kicking things off, Black Hammer, Spiral City. Black Hammer at the end was not the end of Black Hammer. We are picking up in Spiral City right after the events of the last story. After they defeated the big guy, the great beast, I can't remember what his name was. Spiral City is saved. Heroes are, there's distrust because, the world almost ended again. So we're seeing heroes not being trusted by the public. Our friend Insector, I got to keep getting that one right. He's just trying to become a private eye now that he's alive again. He's kind of investigating, looking for a place to set up shop. He's kind of getting a couple, I wouldn't say like leads, but he's starting to notice there's a trend in like B and C listed heroes in villains getting knocked off. Some heroes are starting to have freakouts because, they're just not being trusted by people. Spiral Asylum, where all the supervillains were held, was taken out, like shut down completely. And there's this new kind of corporate government entity kind of taking over everything hero related. So, just normal shady business happening. That kind of continues through most of issue 2. And really digging the story so far. See where it kind of goes. Up next, Avengers versus Aliens, or Aliens versus Avengers, sorry, issue 2. I'm pretty sure this book only ships like once every 2 months, maybe 3 months. I'm not too sure, but that's fine. It's not tying into anything crazy, but it is still pretty fun, issue 2. So we in the last issue, Miles Morales got infected by a facehugger, but because he has the symbiote, he seems to be okay. Tony Stark basically says we got to abandon the planet Earth because the aliens are going to just overtake everything and there's nothing left to do here. So they basically are like, all right, we're going to abandon Earth. Miles is feeling okay, even though he kind of has an alien side of him. We're not quite sure yet. Bruce Banner's a little hesitant because, Steve Rogers is still out there somewhere. And as this giant ship's about to take off, of course, Steve Rogers makes one last ditch to save a group of people to get them back to the city, but it's just honestly too late. Bruce Banner turns to the Hulk and jumps out because he's just like, we can't leave people behind, Tony. Like, we're heroes. That's what heroes do, and you can't let an old friend do it alone. So the Hulk goes out there. Him and Captain America left behind. Tony feeling sad with the rest of the heroes of the choices they made, but literally it's to save Earth. It's to save humanity. And then we get a shot of these big white guys from Prometheus. I can't remember their names are. The Architects. They're speaking some sort of language we don't know yet, and there's been some sort of infection. Something's going on. So yeah, things are happening. I don't really know, but it's Hickman and Ribbick, so I'm going to buy this book. It is good. I'm enjoying it, but, I think there's maybe 2 more issues left. We'll kind of see where it goes. These kind of miniseries are always kind of hit or miss, I find. They're fun reads, for sure. But, it's a spinoff. It's not going to have any lasting ties in the universe. But anyways, moving on. Ultimate X-Men, 9 and 10. There's so much going on now. So Ahsoka is definitely having problems. She's not dealing with being a mutant very well. They're still trying to figure out what the deal is with the children of the atom and how it might be connected to Ahsoka. And some of her friends, even though we know some of her friends, like, I have to check the character sheets from Akira, Natsu and Mori, their parents are members and they are members. They've kind of not gone to school the last couple of days. The children of the atom are in the news. People are talking about them, and the guy is kind of running it all. This guy goes into the master. He's been working with the maker, and the council is basically trying to figure out what he wants to do. There's this great little sequence, I should say, where the Shadow King, of course, his name's on the first page, or the second, but you know what? The Shadow King, and he's being held by not being held. He's back with the Children of Atom getting help, and there's this guy, I don't know if this is Logan or Wolverine, but it's drawn, it very much looks like him. They have a conversation about just, if they're the chosen ones or not, and what does that mean? People just confronting mutants out in the streets. May and Surge get into a bit of a tussle. And yeah, it's just what's going to happen? Oh, we also see, Surge, she used her powers, but it's still unknown like which. Okay, so there's this whole thing with the children that might be creating mutants. So maybe you're born immune. You're like, I don't use the term pure. That seems wrong. But you have the X gene, but then there's other people who might be kind of the children of the atom that are being given blood to become mutants. So yeah, kind of interesting there. Continuing issue 10, Minori and Hisoka are kind of still investigating the shadow. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the shadow and the children of the atom. Some people come to Hisoka's house to confront her because they know who she is now. They've seen video of her using her power, and the Shadow Prince, Shadow King kind of attacks. We still don't really know how he's connected to Hisoka, but yeah. Cyclops accidentally kills a couple more people, not so great. Yeah, and we see the Meister like drinking X blood, like he needs power. So yeah, like I said, lots of stuff going on here. I'm really digging it. Oh, and people are starting to put on masks. I think we're gonna see like the Brotherhood form. That's what I'm guessing this gang is, but we'll find out. I think of all the Ultimate books, it's hard to put this. Like Spider-Man is still my favorite. Ultimates and Ultimate X-Men are just like neck and neck right now. But then we have Ultimate Black Panther, issue 10 and 11. Oh boy, this book has lasted 5 issues longer in my pile than it really should have. I stuck it out to see more about the Sorcerer Supreme, as we see here on the cover. Issue 10, she's still traveling with, Storm and Killmonger to get to Wakanda. They kind of are starting to trust each other more, so she goes full Sorcerer Supreme, protects them from some folks, calls on a giant shark to eat a helicopter full of bad guys, which is kind of cool. Save Killmonger's life, and then goes full costumes. Like, all right, let's get back to Wakanda like ASAP. I could have done this the whole time. Meanwhile, T'Challa's having weird dreams about basically fighting and killing Khonshu, who's using the power of, I'm gonna call it anti-vibranium, the opposite of vibranium, but maybe the vibranium is just like in T'Challa. It's like talking to him. Yeah, I'm not really too sure. Issue 11, love this cover, Sorcerer Supreme is messing with T'Challa. That, spoiler, that does not happen. We get a lot of T'Challa going around parts of Africa, Wakanda, trying to see the influence Khonshu has and what exactly, because they've been so hidden all these years, maybe he should be going out there and helping people more, kind of like we saw that in the Black Panther movie. A lot of people talking, only a little bit of action. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this book is just, it's mediocre. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm sure there's people that really are enjoying it. It's just not me. It's not for me. So it is definitely getting the cut from the pile. This is a pretty big pile, but this is 2 months worth of books. This is just getting a cut. There's some other books that are kind of coming out that I might want to start reading. So, you got to make room for the new stuff. So sorry, Black Panther. I tried to stick out as best I could. It's just also just doesn't tie into a lot of the other books in the Ultimate. Not that the Ultimate books are starting to tie together at all, but it's, yeah, like I said, it's just not holding my interest. But Spider-Man, oh boy, what a way to end the first year. So issue 11, we got the new Black Cat on the cover there because, Peter and Harry basically, Harry put the previous Black Cat in the hospital. Spider-Man's out there fighting guys. He runs into Mr. Negative, who of course is one of these Sinister Six, who's also trying to find Peter and the Green Goblin. They kind of tussle, which is pretty cool. Nice fight. Using his powers. Mr. Negative uses his abilities to slow down Peter. Peter gets home. He and MJ are just kind of this conversation of like, how dangerous is this starting to get, right? And how he's super grateful that she understands he wants to do this. But they start talking about like what is the cost of, like, what happens if someone starts to find out who you are or who his connections, and they find out who Mary Jane is or their children, Uncle Ben. So it's all leading up to something kind of big, obviously. We see the original Black Cat. He's in the wheelchair, introduces his daughter to Sinister Six, and the Kingpin's just pissed. He's just like, get out there and find these people. Like, what is it going to take to find these two? Like, I don't understand what's taking so long. Excuse me, because it's issue 12 or almost 12, we're roughly about a year from the incident that, the explosion that not that Tony Stark caused, that the Maker caused and blamed and, framed Tony Stark for. That also killed, Aunt May and Norman Osborn. Peter and Ben meet up. Ben's talking to Peter and basically tells him, like, I figured out who you are. We figured out who the Green Goblin was. It didn't take him very long to figure it out. And he's like, if I can figure it out, Jonah's going to figure it out. There's actually this really nice part where they're kind of like, he's like, are you going to tell me about it? And Peter's like, and he's just like, it took me a week. He's like, I've been wanting to. He's like, don't say it out loud. Don't ever say it out loud to anyone, ever. Because the more people that know, right? The great power comes great responsibility, which is pretty fun. Really fun issue. Like, but again, Ben talks to him about, like, what are you going to do? Like, what if your family gets caught? What if they get in trouble? Like, what happens when the waves just crash over you too much and you can't get back up? Like, man, classic Spider-Man themes. Love it. Issue 12, it's a fun little Christmas story. I love it. We see the Parker house. Not Aunt May. Mary Jane's mom and sister show up. So obviously there's some tension there, which is kind of, the whole issue. Gwen Stacy's trying to call Mary Jane, and Mary Jane just can't take the call because she's just dealing with, her own family drama. Nice little Christmas moments. People talking about what it means to be family and loving and caring. Peter just being great. MJ trying to hold it together. And then Mary Jane kind of makes amends with her family and realizes, that's what we have to do. We got to love each other and stick it out. There's this great little shot. You're like, that's a nice little ending, right? Happy family, great, pictures taken. But then finally, Gwen calls again, and she's like, I need to talk to you and Peter. She tells Gwen and Peter she hasn't seen Harry for, what's it say here, 6 days. Does Peter know anything? Peter and MJ are in the other room talking privately. And when she goes to talk to Peter, she realizes it's not Peter at all. It's the suit. Oh, such a cool twist. It's a suit Tony gave him that's like posing as Peter. The nanomachines. Like, this is totally setting up Venom, right? Like, I don't know. Sorry. I love that idea. Anyways, I'm geeking out. Where are they? Where's Peter? Where's Harry? Epilogue. Kraven the Hunter's got him. Like, this is the kind of comic book I love. Like, I always think back to Stan Lee always said, every comic is somebody's first, right? So if you're picking up Ultimate Spider-Man, this is a great issue. You get a little bit of all the main cast, right? All the good guys, you learn a bit about their family, a little update on things are going on, but you're like, where's Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? And then you get this like final page banger, like 2 bangers in the back of the book. That's you in the first year of Spider-Man. Seriously. This is the best Spider-Man book out there. I'm tempted, they're going to relaunch Amazing Spider-Man again with the new #1, Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz, who I do like both. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know, but it's not going to be as good as Ultimate Spider-Man. Maybe? I don't know. This book just got me so hyped on reading Spider-Man again that I'm like, I should read more Spider-Man comics. And there's so many of them out there. I'll probably be a little disappointed. But moving on. As I said, Ultimate Spider-Man is the best Ultimate book in my opinion. Ultimate X-Men and Ultimates are neck and neck for #2. So issue 6, obviously you see the Hulk on the cover. The Avengers kick off. They're on a mission to free some superpowered prisoners from the Maker to, maybe recruit into the Avengers. So they open the door, they go through the portal, and bam, it's a trap. The Hulk I'm pretty sure he's got them trapped in Kunan. It's a mystical city that he controls. So they go to fight the Hulk. And we learned that the Hulk is also the Iron Fist, which is pretty cool. Honestly, I love the idea. That's how he went to Kunlun and he became the Iron Fist, and that's what taught him to be peaceful. But, how he can kind of be the Hulk all the time. And then basically they're trapped. Doom is on their secret satellite, and he's locked out. He can't find them. So he's like, okay, Doom's got to start searching for him because clearly it's a trap. And then the Hulk calls out the immortal weapons. Oh, nice little callback to the Immortal Iron Fist comic. So he hulks them out, which is cool. So you got like Fat Cobra, you got Beautiful Daughter, you got Brother, you got Prince of Meltdowns with Prince of Shadows, Crane Mother, Bride of the Nine Realms. Like, so cool seeing all these characters. And then, the Avengers start fighting the ultimate immortal weapons. Kind of goes hit or miss. It's not, I wouldn't say like a total one-sided fight either way. You know, they're kind of holding, some of the Avengers are holding their own. Some, like Tony's, he's taking the Hulk on 1-to-1. He's just getting worked over, right? You're not going to take on a Hulk. Come on. Fat Cobra eats the Wasp. And then she basically grows super big inside of him. And yeah, which is kind of cool. So Fat Cobra's out. Hank and Jan are just like, oh my gosh, everyone's just like, this is too much. Like, they're going to die. She-Hulk literally loses her hand, and just as she's about to get killed by the Hulk, Tony, of course, all hope lies in doom. Bam, and he saves him, teleports him back to the tower. But they were too late. Someone says, Iron Lad is dead. Oh no. But, no one stays dead in comic books. So, issue 7, follow from their fights. They're just, they got ambushed by the Hulk. They suffered a defeat. Iron Lad's dead. So what does the team do? They have personal days. Jim Hammond and Steve Rogers kind of go back to some of their old haunts throughout New York and kind of discuss, like, what are the Avengers doing? What does it take? They've lived through World War II. They've seen what happens when fascists take control and, tyranny rules. So Hank and Jan, kind of debating. Hank is on the fence. He just doesn't want to do this. And Jan's like, no, like, we're going to be okay, and we got to do this. We do it together. Hawkeye's out there just doing Hawkeye things, causing trouble. There's a bunch of protesters at the White House, and American Chavez shows up, kind of inspires a lot of them, and then saves them all before they're, taken by hand, which is kind of cool. And then we get this cool shot of the 9 realms where basically Thor and Sif are like, you know what, we need help, but we can't get help from Asgard because Loki's in control. So they kind of say, like, well, the Asgard rebellion starts now. So that's kind of fun. I hope that's kind of the next story arc. Maybe we'll see. She-Hulk's trying to get home. Doom, Reed Richards, is not going to send her there because it'll, doom her islands. And then we kind of get the shot of just Tony in like a healing tank, healing up. It's getting the Iron Man heart installed. Kind of cool. But yeah, great issue. Super fun. I like there's like these a lot of like, in the first 7 issues, lots of like one and done stories. I really love that kind of stuff. Because I remember it was like, oh, it'd be cool if there's like a Asgardian rebellion, but really, bang, we jump right into the Guardians of the Galaxy. I always said Asgardians of the Galaxy. Sorry. The Guardians of the Galaxy. So the Avengers find there's something coming in there from like another time, space, dimension. So they show the spot is supposed to show up. Bam. Ship comes crashing in, and it has the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they're actually there looking for America. They've come for America Chavez, but she doesn't remember them at all. Obviously a bit of a fight ensues because the heroes never recognize other heroes. They always got to duke it out for a little bit, but we get some really cool, just the Ultimate Guardians are really well. You got Star-Lord, the Master of the Solar System, Lord of the 12 Houses. You have the Ultimate Nullifier. He's just like a human nullifier. That's pretty cool. Cosmo Starstalker, another psychic dog who helps American Chavez remember all the things she's forgotten. And they're basically from the future. And what happened in the future is something even further in the future was coming back and causing like temporal disturbances, and they're trying to stop it, right? Which is probably Kang, if I have to put my finger on it. It's probably Kang, as we saw in the original, well, the whole miniseries that kicked off this new Ultimate universe. And they're like, America, you have to come with us because with you, we can stop this thing. And American Chavez says, no, like, I'm here for a reason. I've made these new friends. I've met these people, and we need to stop what's going on here. Not what's in the future. Timelines are being pruned and replanted. But given time, the Guardians can save everybody if America goes with them. And America's like, you can do that without me. I'm going to stay, and I'm going to help them fight the Maker. Because the motto of the Guardians is rescue everybody. And we get this cool shot of the Unmaker wins, right? They actually tell America, like, you will lose if you stay. The Unmaker wins, right? So when the Maker comes out of his city, maybe Kang will be there. We don't know. So, yeah, pretty cool. Love it. 10 months remaining, 10 more issues, roughly, maybe. So, yeah, pretty fun stuff. Then we end the Ultimate stuff with the Ultimate Universe #1. 1 year into the Ultimate Universe, how are things going? Honestly, I gotta say, I'm really liking the new Ultimate Universe. Lots of really fun stuff there. Like I said, Spider-Man is awesome. Ultimates and X-Men are really good. It's just Black Panther that I'm not digging, which is fine. So of the 4 books, 75%, that's a strong pass, right? Was that like a B plus? I don't know. But this is all about Nick Fury, Agent of the Hands. He works for the Makers Council, and he's out there literally killing people who might rise up and overthrow them. It's kind of wild. We see these shots. They have like the Omega in house. They've got arrested, like being held. They've got Howard the Duck. I love these posters. Make the Maker proud. But yeah, Nick Fury's just going over with the council. He's got them all to come to the helicarrier to talk to them about just the way things have gone. And, he's giving the report, but at the same time, Nick Fury's going back of like, what is good and evil? Black and white. My whole life has been shades of gray, and I just don't know where things start to blur. And I've just been doing, and, I've got to do something about all this, right? He gives a little update on like how things have been going to in the Ultimate Universe with like, the Avengers and where they stand and some of the other heroes. And then he goes to enact his plan where he's going to kill the council. And yeah, there's actually this great montage here, sorry, of him chasing and killing heroes like Triathlon, Mantis. I don't know what this thing is, but yeah, killing Dum Dum Dugan, killing Inhumans like a young Black Bolt. Yeah, just some, dark stuff. Anyways, he goes to kill the council, and they just start laughing because they're like, this is hilarious. Like, look at his face. Like, oh my gosh, he thought he was going to actually do this. This isn't the first time you try to do this, Nick. And then they kill him. And they're all kind of like, why do we keep doing this? And like, well, the Maker, it's his joke. He loves it. Like, it's just a cruelness that he reminds them of, something. And we realized it was just a life model decoy. Nick Fury is a life model decoy the whole time, and they have a bunch of them, and they're just going to pop another one out of the capsule and put them back to work. Then there's this little kind of final page preview of them working on The Ultimate Wolverine, which is a new book that starts up in January. So yeah, I got that one on my list. As I said, you got to cut books to make room for books. So cutting Black Panther to make room for the Winter or Ultimate Wolverine, even though I'll probably still have at least an issue or 2 of Black Panther before it's like officially cut. I got to send the word in, and then I stick with all the books they've already ordered for me. All right, half of the stack is done. So moving along, we got Space Usagi, just 1 issue over the last 2 months. They're pretty thick though. It's a nice one. I wouldn't say it's quite double size. It feels kind of double size. Anyways, issue 2 of White Star Rising. So Usagi and his crew are trying to get onto the ship to get the codes that kind of unlock it. And, it's like an ultimate weapon that the clan that took over in the previous series is trying to use. So this is a nice, just fun little Usagi Yojimbo sci-fi story. Like, everyone's going to be everybody on the bad guy's side, obviously. But, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm pretty sure Stan Sakai writes and draws this one. Does he write this one? Yep, he does. So super fun. Loving that. I Hate Fairylands, issue 17-18, parts 2 and 3 of Happy Endgame. Okay, so Happy, a little girl that Gert killed. Well, first things first, this issue starts with they've been doing this a lot in this arc where they have this like happy story, like a fairy tale. This boy was just the son of a blacksmith, but he ended up falling in love with a princess, but he's not a prince or royalty, so they can't be in love. So he goes out to quest to prove himself worthy, and when he returns, they get married. But as soon as that's short-lived because Gert shows up and kills them all. So Happy, who was a previous little girl that Gert had killed, is trapped in the underworld, and she's been raising this army, and they're going to leave the underworld and get their revenge on Gert. So they do get out because, that's the story's moving along. King Claudius shows up and requests Gert, and they need her, obviously, to fight Happy. They give her this book, the Once Upon a Timers, and she's reading through it thinking like, wait, all these characters from all these made-up children's stories are real? Kind of a funny joke there. They're really just mostly all public domain characters in this day and age. So yeah, Gert actually travels back to the real world to try and recruit people to help her. First stop, literally shows up to find Dorothy. It's kind of cool. Um, so turns out Happy is marching across Fairyland, taking out people. What I really like about this book is it is ultra violence, but they invade this place called Pillowless, like Pillowland. All the people are made of pillows. So this is like brutal, like eyes, people being ripped up, but it's just stuffing. It's great. I love that kind of stuff. The Gerts that Gert had previously killed and like one of the previous arcs are back because they were all in the underworld, and they're starting to realize that maybe as much as we hate Gert, we don't like Happy anymore. Like they hate Happy as much as they dislike Gert. So they're kind of starting to plot against Happy, perhaps. Back in the real world, Kansas, Gert shows up. Classic superhero trope. They start to battle a little bit before Gert tells her what's going on. And Dorothy's just like, I'm not going to go. Like, why would I go with you? You sound like a terrible, terrible person. But Gert's like, I got to go. It's my home, right? I got to save it. As much as I hate Fairylands, she's back in the real world. It's her home now, and she has to go save it. Cut back to Fairylands. Happy confronts the Gerts, and a bit of a fight between them all. But she absorbs them all to become mega Happy. So, yeah, I do think this is going to be the final arc of this volume, maybe. I don't think the last volume went to more than 25 issues. And if there's part 4 and 5, that leads up to issue 20 nicely. So, another book coming off the books, or off the pull list anyway. So, room for one more? We'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of flipping through previews and nothing too new is catching my eye. But anyways, I'll be sad if that is the last of it, because again, I really enjoy this book. And if there is a volume 3 in the future, I'm definitely picking this one up. So moving right along. Sacrificers, again, 2 issues. This is the start of a brand new arc, No Light Beyond. It starts with a bang. So we get this preview of kind of, I'm going to say like the earth god. He talks about the plants and his connection to the, he grew things when there was nothing, but he's got the black goo that goes inside of him. And they talk about when this is going on, like consuming flesh, which is what, the Princess Saluna, it's what came out of her when she was falling asleep. They also have a similar nose as well, which I guess the King, the Sun had that too. Anyways, we jump to Saluna. She's still with Beatrice, Pigeon's sister. They've been captured. They're being taken by become sacrificers. And then the sacrificer gang has attacked the guards, and it's none other than Beatrice's brother, Pigeon, shows up. He doesn't know they've been captured. He's really just there to catch the main guy, the guard, the head of the guard, to just kill him, because that's all Pigeon cares about. He just cares about getting vengeance. He then realizes Beatrice has been captured. Saluna realizes this is, oh my gosh, that's Pigeon. That's the guy who stole my powers. These two fight. They land in the town. Obviously, innocent people are going to get hurt. And Pigeon basically destroys this guy, because that's all he cares about. It's just his hatred has consumed him. And once everything's said and done, Pigeon's dad shows up to basically confront him, realizing that his son is here, and his son has caused all this destruction, and that his son, he was right all along. He's a curse. His mother's been killed in this pointless battle in the city that Pigeon was causing, and basically just like, I wish they had killed you. Like, how many people have to die for you to like get this, like whatever you're doing? And as he's just trying to say like he can fix it, Pigeon literally gets pulled into the ground, which is kind of cool. We're left with like the aftermath, which is, really nice touch. This is constantly like Pigeon's out to get his revenge, but again, what is the cost of that? Constantly, we've seen every stop he's made, cities, towns destroyed. Which leads into this part where he's captured by I don't know the name. They don't really say the name of these kingdoms. Anyways, he's underground, and these kind of like clay dudes capture him, and he gets his axe back. He frees himself. He's like, all right, time to go kill a god. This is the guy he was hunting for anyways. He's kind of like the god of industry, power. I don't know. They work underground. There's a bunch of gears turning, and they're chanting like, we are the power. It's us together. Like, who shapes who shapes everything above ground? It's us. We do it. Us together. So Pigeon shows up. They start fighting. They're talking. They're going back and forth and like, what is the cost of what we do? And Pigeon doesn't realize what he's doing. Like thousands are dying just for what? To end something. Pigeon's like, my ends justify the means. Pigeon kind of gets held up. He's overwhelmed. And then he basically tells this guy, like, you go around saying, that these men here that died for you are strong, like they're dead. They paid a price. And the guy's like, that's the price that people have to pay. Like, and then kind of go back and forth. And Pigeon basically says, you know what, dude? Put your money where your mouth is. Free me, and the two of us will go and we'll give up our power to the people. If that's what it is. If you are a man of the people, then let's go do it. What I like is as they're discussing this, there's this great shot of these dudes who work for the god just kind of like, hey, wait a second. He's right. We don't get a lot out of this deal currently. So he frees Pigeon. He's like, all right, what are we going to do? He's like, all right, we're going to go convert people. And he's like, what do these gods refuse? Well, then we kill them all. So, yeah, great. Even though Pigeon didn't really free his sister. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, like again, what a great book. Loving it. Up next, Saga, issue 70-71. So Robot, he is dealing with his trauma, not the best way. So he's going to get sent off to I guess like a camp that's going to help him. Hazel's not too happy because, it's breaking up the family and they got to stick together. Alana's like, this is what's best. So Robot agrees. Petrichor's out there. She actually wants to go back to jail. She confronts a woman that helped free them originally, and she's like, I've just become the worst thing. Like, I've done nothing but unspeakable evil since I've left. I've gotten out. I want to go back. Just put me back where I belong. So it's kind of cool. We also learn who the real, I wouldn't say traitor, but there's someone on the ship that Alana and crew are like on that knows who they are potentially and is going to sell that information to the Moonies, the Moonies, Wings, Robot Kingdom, whomever wants it. So there was hints at who it was the last few issues, but they reveal who it really is, which is kind of cool, this issue. It's one of the clowns. Yeah, really great. So then Robot's gone. It's been a few weeks. Lana's trying to figure things out. Her best friend and her not quite getting along. And it's really because she feels Hazel's lying to her all the time. So Hazel reveals who she actually is. She reveals her horns, which she's really not supposed to do. The captain of the ship, this is my favorite part, the captain of the ship confronts the clown who's potentially selling out. He's like, I know what you're trying to do. He's like, oh, perfect. Like, let's split the payment. We can freaking retire, man. He's like, hey, you got yourself a deal. No, you don't. You're a rube, and you don't sell out your fellow carnies. The guy that I did think was going to sell out Alana, and even though Alana's about to try and kiss him, he's like, you should wait because he hasn't been honest with her. He works for her dad. He's a private investigator. He's been sent to find her because her dad is very sick and wants to see her before he goes. So, interesting. We've never met her parents. I'm trying to think of this ever having a flashback maybe. But, yeah, dude, loving Saga. This book just, it goes in a break. It comes back, and I'm just like, man, I love this book so much. Moving along. Transformers 14-15. Picking up right where we left off. Chunk of Cybertron is still crashed into Earth. Starscream's been picked up by these guys who I'm pretty sure work for Cobra. They are using his tank, so that's kind of a dead giveaway. They hook him up to it to kind of, not keep him alive, but they want to put him to servitude. They tell him they put a bunch of bombs inside of him so if he doesn't help them out, they will destroy him. So they start leaving. He goes along with them. We get this really cool flashback of, some of Starscream's past of being Megatron's, basically his right hand, his executioner. He needs to use Megatron in gun form. It also implies that when Megatron's in here, he has like an influence over Starscream when he's doing this. And Starscream doesn't want to be shooting these Autobots, in cold blood, but he does. And there's this great kind of page of him just, you see the lengths that he goes to working with Megatron and how it changes him. Anyways, back to the present. They come across Astro Train. Starscream frees them. They head to the beach. Giant waves coming in because this literally just happened. So there's like a tsunami essentially. coming in. Astrotrain saves them. They find some Combaticons in the water, saving them. And these humans, these guys who work for Cobra, are like, this is not the deal we made. They kind of get knocked out due to the flight they're on. When they wake up, Starscream's back in command, and this guy's like, "What have you done?" And Starscream's like, "Oh yeah, I made a deal with your friends, and they took all the bombs out. So work with me." Then Starscream just kills them all, as he does, and he forms his own group of like Decepticons. Right? Soundwave took control of the Decepticons, but these guys, seeing what Soundwave did in the last few issues, are like, "We're with you now, Starscream." So there's now two factions of Decepticons rolling around. So that puts us in issue 15, where Soundwave's Decepticons are attacking Tacoma, Washington, destroying it, killing people, even though we see Thundercrackers doesn't want to kill these people. He actually tells them to run before he destroys that building, which is kind of nice, I guess. You're seeing that some of these bots, Cybertronians, don't want to be doing this. Like the cost, the weight of this ongoing battle over thousands of years just weighs on them. Cliffjumper, he's stuck on Cybertron. He did not make it off. He meets up with Blue Streak and a couple other Autobots, and yeah, they basically are on there. They're like, come on, we gotta go. Like things are not good in Cybertron. Back on Earth, RC, she's gonna leave. She's gonna go find Ultra Magus, and Beachcomber's like, I'm not fighting. Like he's gonna stay, but he's like, I'm not a fighter. There's got to be another way. I took an oath to myself, no more violence. So the rest of the Autobots, they roll out. They go to Washington to try and help people. They get attacked by humans because, they're just giant robots, just like the Decepticons. Nobody really knows the difference yet. There's something going on with the Matrix within inside Optimus because Spike's dad went inside to jumpstart it, basically. Optimus is kind of getting these flashes or feeling things. Like, I don't want to say he's feeling emotions, but he's getting these flashes where he kind of like loses himself. And then, the Autobots, they basically travel to the dam where they have this and they can hook up. They wake up Trails. Another Autobot joins the fight. But just as that happens, boom, they're attacked by Starscream's crew, who then show up. And then Soundwave's crew shows up. And the two sides of Decepticons are just like, well, I guess this is a throwdown. And the Combaticons turn to Bruticus to then fight. So, super fun. Still in this book. Issue 15. I think Danny Warren Johnson is running up to like issue 24 or something like that. So maybe another arc or two to figure out. Still really loving this book. Like I said, the way that they are showing more of the Autobots are it's not just like a commercial for toys. Like these bots have these consciousnesses, and they're dealing with just the trauma and the stress of being in war different ways. Really interesting take, and I'm really enjoying it. The Moon is Following Us, 3 and 4. Okay, so again, killer book. I'm really digging this. We started a little flash in the past where the daughter is awake. So this is before she went to sleep permanently or into her coma. And she's watching her mom with her grandmother, who is dying in the hospital, unfortunately. So in the dreamscape, they find out where their daughter is being held. So they make a plan to go save her. They sneak in. Things are going well. They get their daughter, but then obviously the forces of evil in this dreamscape are pretty strong, and they start to get overrun. A giant snake thing shows up, which is kind of cool. And during this battle, kind of the leader shows up, this giant snake person, and gets back their daughter. Fight ensues. They smash the helmet, and it's revealed that the person inside is her mother that she saw die just a little while ago. And she's like, it'll be better for your daughter, for my granddaughter, to just not go through the things we've gone through and to stay here. Like that's why I'm doing this. Kind of interesting take. So moving on to the next issue with that revelation, they continue fighting. There's a great line here where the dad asks Brio, the Frog King guy, has he ever read X-Men comics? And they do the fastball special. Love that. They get their daughter back. Chopper shows up. Princess is there to save them, and they try to get away. Of course, it just doesn't work out. They go down hard again. Battle Bear is killed. The princess is taken out, and the Snake Queen, her grandmother, her mom, takes off with the daughter again. So back in the real world, they're talking with Tash, this kind of like hermit dude who's been helping them since the start. And he's like, okay, there is something we can do, but it'll come at a cost. And obviously the mom, she's like all in. Like even her husband's like, is this really, like, how far are we going to take this? She's like, as far as we need to go. Whatever the cost is to save our daughter, we'll do it. So he takes them to this tree. He's just like, this is the next step. Instead of using technology, we're going like organic. And this is, the risks are really high. Like if they get hurt here, they can't come back out to heal. Like they are going to be in there until either they die or they are victorious. Like this is the end game. So they both strap themselves up with their daughter to this tree, go in the dream worlds. They meet up with, I think this character's name's Pigface. It's like the bat that wears the pig and the guns and the swings. Great design. And it's drawing energy from them, which that's the cost. They could lose some of their life, a couple of years off their life or something. We'll see. But from that, they now have a full arsenal of tanks, attack helicopters, gunner jets, fighter jets. Like they're ready to go. Let's do this. And Tash basically says like, this is it. The final battle is now at hand. They're making their final push against us. So this is it. Which is like, okay, that's cool. Issue 4. So we're going to do like 2 more issues. No, they actually call out in the comments here that they're already finishing the script for issue 10. So, yeah, I'm not going to like try and guess where this book is going to go. I don't want to try and spoil it for myself or anything. But knowing Daniel Warren Johnson, when he has these long, like there's always a nice little gut punch of emotion about the halfway mark. So I'm not saying someone's going to die or anything, but there's going to be some really cool stuff going on. But again, I'm loving this book, dude. It's so much fun. If you're not reading this book, you should be reading it for sure. Okay, Void Rivals, 2 issues. So, on the planet that Solia is from, I'm learning their names. Solia, her dad basically confronts and is like, he goes to the church of Zyrtex and he's like, I have failed. This is just not working. So the leader there is like, perfect. Like, you're ready to step into the light and we'll do something about it. We don't quite know what that back is. On the other side of the planet, Derek, I'm going to call him Derek. His dad basically is like, I should have told you everything because I kept it from you. But he's like, we got to stop Unity because Unity brings about the end. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, what is the end? He's like, I can't tell you right now, but trust me, it's not good. We then get the serpent people from G.I. Joe who are in space looking for Energon. They find something on their ship and they get infected by something. We'll see. That's not going to end up well for them, I assume. Solia, meanwhile, is still within the middle of the planet. She's using the key of Zerta that she got from the Church of Zerta to help find her way. And then, again, back on the surface, some sort of alien ship is coming in. So Derek's like, send me. He goes up. And while he has to get knocked out as they go through, the pass by the black hole, him and Solia end up in a dreamscape where they're kind of giving each other updates. And yeah, she's just like, he tells her that, hey, the highest ranking officials on both sides clearly know what's going on. She's like, what? Why didn't you tell me at the start as we're just sitting here chatting? And then bam, they snap out of it back to where they were. He wakes up in space. He's being chased by a ship. Turns out it's just her boy, Hot Rod from Transformers. And Solia falls into the middle of the planet. Oh, yeah. And the Quincenticons, they find the ring and they're like, this is it. The fabled ring of Zur. This is the one whose name we won't speak of. I'm pretty sure it's Zerta. And they're like, okay, we're going back to Quincenticon and we're going to get our revenge finally, right? So, issue 15, you got Hot Rod on the cover. He lands on the planet. Derek tells everybody like they're friends. His buddy, the helicopter guy, crap, what's his name? I think they actually say it here. Buddy, no idea how his name. Springer. There we go. Springer shows up. The two of them are basically chatting. Solia's still falling through the planets. They land. She's protected by Zerta, and she actually uses the key. But Springer and Hot Rod are kind of discussing like what exactly they're doing because Springer came here to try and find Energon and Zerta. He's like, I didn't find Zerta, but she's been here. Like she's everywhere. She's like, even these people have like Energon ports in their heads. Something's going on here. But yes, we could farm Energon. Is it just this planet's too far away for us to like really get it there? So they're basically talking about Transformer stuff while everything else is going on. And in the planet, Zerta uses her key and she wakes up Vector Theta, who before the secret ring, I was there, and now who's reactivating them. I don't know if Vector Theta is related to Transformers lore. I didn't look it up, but yeah, really like this book. I don't mind the Transformers or G.I. Joe characters showing up. Robert Kirk makes a good point in the back here. He talks about the Energon universe, like, oh yeah, you can now, every book is up and running. G.I. Joe is up and running, Transformers is ongoing, and then there's this one. And even though G.I. Joe and Transformer characters show up here, like, you do not need to read those books to read this. It will not enhance your reading experience, which is great. I don't mind when books have lots of crossover. Like, I'm reading all the Ultimate books, hoping there's a bit of, thinking there would be more crossover, right? Because I'm thinking like Jonathan Hickman's always pushing things like that. But so far, no, not so much. But I'm glad Robert Kirkman's not doing with this book. And then lastly, for the monthly books, Ultra Mega issue 7. Again, I love Ultra Mega. The art in this book is insane. James Herron is just killing it with every single page. Just so much action. There's so much going on that reading this kind of every couple of months as the issues come out is a little crazy. I can't remember what anyone's name is, which is fine. All the characters now on Earth, and it's just crazy. This whole issue is like one fight chase sequence with so much going on. Like, I really need this, like, the last issue to come out, which I'll read, and I'm going to sit down and read this whole thing as one go because, yeah, it's just wild. There's so many cool ideas. What's really wild is, okay, I think my favorite thing in this issue is the crazy large Ultra Mega from the planet Ultra Megas shows up on Earth. His spaceship is shaped like a sword. He goes to the city and he's like, oh, definitely smells like kaiju. He gets knocked back. And then the queen of the kaiju, she shows up. And this gun comes out of the ground, very much like Neo Genesis Evangelion. Like, building pops up, it opens up, it's just a giant gun. This gun is hooked up to a machine and it fires kaiju. It just fires kaiju. I love that idea. And yeah, our super ultra mega easily defeats them, catches a bunch of them as well, and he creates weapons out of the kaiju. Man, so there's only supposed to be 8 issues of this, but they, again, in the letter column say that issue 8 got so big, there'll be now 2 issues. So 9 will be the last issue. So yeah, here's hoping that they take those 9 issues and do like a giant oversized hardcover collection, because man, oh man, this book is just insane. Absolutely insane. Love it. Okay. Very fat stack. This is, again, everything, all the singles for end of the year, November, December, all put in there nice and neat. I actually think there's probably even a couple of January books. Like, I think that Ultimate Universe #1 with Nick Fury was a January book, but either way, all there. Now, moving on to the trades. So lots of trades and a couple interesting pickups as well that didn't come with the book, but I also picked up. So I traded a bunch of trades at the end of 2024. Things I'm just not going to read again. You know, sometimes you got to call. I got a lot of bookshelves and they're getting full, so I got to make space for the other things I've been buying. So traded a bunch of books I wasn't going to read ever again, and I picked up volume 1, 2, and 3 of Velvet. This is by Brubaker and Steve Epting. They worked together on Captain America famously. But yeah, Velvet's just like, she is a retired Secret Service. I think she's British. It's basically like James Bond, but retired James Bond people, right? I really liked it. This collects the whole series, one step closer to just having everything Brubaker's worked on. So was one of the other reasons I picked it up. But yeah, this is a really fun book. I collected it as it was coming out monthly, so big fan of this one. Up next, Empowered Volume 12. This is I'm not going to flip through this too much because there's, it's a little, it's very cheesecakey. This book is super cheesecakey, like, not going to lie. But it's also really, really wholesome. But as a white dude, it's hard for me to speak on that other than just, I really enjoy this book. I think the character of Emp is really good. Adam Warren kills it on the art in here. And this is the final volume. Yeah, volume 12. I've been reading this book, I think, for over 10 years. Used to come out super regularly, but then just around COVID, it really slowed down. But yeah, Adam Warren talks about in the back of the book that this is the end for now. He'll come back to the Empowered universe. He's done some spin-off books, those characters showing up, but uh, yeah, I like I said, it's cheesecakey, but it's like it is really wholesome story. I'm not going to dig into too much about like the cheesecake is in there for a reason, and it's like not just girls, it's also like buff dudes. So, but again, I'm a white guy. I really shouldn't be commenting on it. I really enjoy it. So I'm just going to say that. I love Empowered. I'm sad to see this is the last volume. But hey, all good things come to a semi-end because again, it'll get picked up soon. Next up, Ain't No Grave. So Scotty Young, who obviously I read a lot of his stuff. He does I Hate Fairyland. And then Jorge Corona, who's actually the artist on Transformers right now. But I read a book that the two of them did. It was like a horror book. There's probably an ad for it in the back here. If I slowly flip this open somewhere. No, they just show I Hate Fairyland, which is fine. But they did a really fun horror book that I enjoyed. So this is like a horror western. So yeah, I want to pick this up. I really like this artist, Jorge Corona. More and more of the stuff he does is great. Honestly, he's done a few books in Image. He did, oh man, I can't remember the name of the other books he's done. He's done like a fantasy one that I really liked. Oh my goodness, yeah. Anyways, love that book. Black Sad, They All Fall Down, Part 2. I have actually did not read Part 1 because I wanted to wait for Part 2. So, you know, anthropomorphic animals. The art in this book is just so gorgeous. Like the detail, the colors. Oh, I love it. And then it's also like classic noir story. Like, oh, man, it's all the things I love about comic books. Any of the Black Sad stories are good. You don't really need to read them in order at all, but I just can't recommend Black Sad enough. So I don't think this is the last Black Sad. This is just, you know, the story they have because it's a European book. Like it's a nice little one. I don't want to say one and done because this is part 2. So if you put them both together, but it's like every 6 months a new Black Sad comes out. I respect that. It's what Brubaker's doing now with like Reckless and probably the next volume of Criminal as well. So I don't want to say it's my preferred future of comics. Like creators making their own books, publishing them, owning it. Love it. Okay, moving on. Art book. Hell, Ink, and Water, The Art of Mike Mignola. So Mike Mignola, when he was done Hellboy, he didn't like retire, but he started doing watercolor paintings. So this is just a collection of a bunch of art he did for an art show, which is really cool. Lots of black and white Hellboy stuff in here too, obviously. Just lots of great Mike Mignola art, like honestly. Oh man, Robot Hellboy. Crooked Man covers. Baltimore. Oh yeah, yeah. All the good stuff. Look at this Rocketeer pinup. Man. Interesting. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting lost as I flip through this. But yeah, just basically a Mike Mignola art book. I have a couple of these and I'll basically buy anything this man puts out because he's probably my favorite artist who's around. Yeah, I gotta say he's my favorite artist. Like I think that like how can I pick my favorite? It's kind of hard. It can kind of change the ranking, but Mike Mignola is always going to sit at the top there. Speaking of Mike Mignola, Hellboy Volume 3 Library Edition. So this is just the next Library Edition that I need, Volume 3. I'm going to start getting these as fast as I can because I think that they're definitely not printing anymore and they're starting to get hard to find. This one I had to actually get off Amazon and not through my shop, which is always heartbreaking because I would rather support my local comic shop than Amazon, but my shop has been able to get 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, this is just basically reprinting the Conquer Worm and the Strange Places trades. So, which I also own in softcover. So I'm in that position as I get more of these. I guess I give up the Hellboy trades because I don't need to own 2 copies of everything. Even though I had that for Sin City, I had that for like years. I had the hardcovers and the trades, but I gave those away. And then I got to do that with Planetary as well. But I'll always double dip for the hardcovers. So lots of trades there. Still more to cover. Up next is a book I've been waiting. I held off on a long time getting. Nagasaki and the Valley of the Winds, Hayao Miyazaki's manga. Um, this is also a movie, but this kind of just expands. So he made the movie while he was working. He made this movie while he was working on this manga, and then he continued making the manga. He wrote this over 13 years. Um, oh man, just opening it up. Sorry. Oh, that smells good. That honestly smells nice. That's a nice pulpy smell. It's gonna be a good read. But I actually held off on getting this because um, I've always wanted to collect it, but it's like I didn't know what it was like on the inside. And you can't take a look at this if you see in the store because it's shrink wrapped, and I can never get a good look of it inside through like video reviews or anything like that. People just like show the cover or the sides, or here just pulled out because it's 2 volumes in a book. So there's also some like nice little art card in here, which is a little poster. It's nice, lovely. Thank you, Viz. But I watched this YouTube channel called Matt, a lot of T's. Highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the video. But he actually talked about this book, and he actually opened it up. I actually got to see the inside, so I was like, "Thank you, Matt." So I picked it up because I know they don't print this anymore, and probably once you can't find it, they're not going to reprint it, and then I'll never get Nagasaki and the Valley of the Winds on my bookshelf, which I've wanted for a long time. So yes, another great manga classic. Okay, one more book. This was a special order. This has been on, I guess, my blacklist. No, this is my holy grail list. The DC Comics Style Guide. Okay, so a little history about this book. Back in the 80s, DC Comics would put out these things called style guides. I'm sure Marvel did as well, but the DC one is more legendary. And they would send this out to people that made goods like lunch boxes and towels and action figures and coloring books, whatever you wanted. DC style guide. This was the guide they'd send you, like, this is what it has to look like. This is what the characters look like. Here's like examples of promotional art. Legendary. It's also legendary because all the art is done by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, who in my opinion is like one of the greatest DC artists of all time. Most because of the style guide. Growing up, when I would see DC on anything, it was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I had no idea until later on. So I was always trying to find the style guide because they don't print this. It was like in a binder and they would give this for free. So do people hold on to it? No, it's just a style guide. People probably threw this out after a while. You would find them online sometimes, but they're like hundreds of dollars, usually incomplete. Couple of pages here, couple of pages there. So I was like, I always just joked, one day I'll get my style guide. And then this company, Standard Manuals, announces they have 2 complete editions and they're doing a book. And I was like, it happens. So this is great. I'm so excited for this book. There's a great little introduction here about the history of it. It goes a little bit over, the artist. Again, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He drew a bit of everything. But yeah, just a great history of him, of DC Comics at the time, of the style guide. And this is literally a 1-for-1 copy of the pages. You can see 3-hole ring punch in here, right? Introduction. What is this guide? How to use the guide? What are the materials of the guide? This book's used for what's wrong, what's right. Like, yeah. Even like how to use the term superheroes, like, because there's a trademark on it. Superheroes on sale? No. Superheroes pajamas. Love it. Okay. Color substitution charts, right? Like, yeah, like here we go. Here's a list of all the superhero colors they would use. Like, gorgeous. And then it's just each section is like a different hero, right? So we have a bunch of Superman stuff. Like, let me just flip ahead. Like, this is promotional stuff. Here, right? Superman. This is what I'm talking about. Superman. Jose Garcia. What I love about Jose Garcia Lopez. Okay, I'm going to flip through here. Okay, Supergirl. I'm trying to find... Okay. My main complaint with modern artists at times is I find the test is have them draw Superman, have them draw Batman. Most of the time, their Batman it's just Superman's face. It's like Clark's face, but you just put a cowl on him, right? So here's his Superman. Here's the build of his Superman, the look of his Superman. Here's just Batman. They look different. Like, you can have Bruce and Clark standing side by side and you would know who they are. I love Ed McGuinness. Dude, I love his style. Read all his books. He's one of the worst offenders. His Batman and Superman, it's even a running joke in a book where they stand in for each other. I'm just like, it bugs me to no end sometimes. Michael Turner, also really bad for it, but yeah. I absolutely love this though. So much cool. It's just all promotional art. All, again, Jose Garcia Lopez. So again, there's a section for Batman, Superman. Obviously, they're the two biggest characters. We got Wonder Woman in here doing the classic spin. Like, yeah. Seriously, I've spent so much time looking through this book. Shazam. Oh, man. Shazam family, the Marvel family. Like, I think if I were to ever get like if you could put this stuff in a t-shirt or get my own custom shirt made. Oh, goodness. So good. Oh, what's this? Justice League? Yeah. Super Friends probably. No, Justice League of America. There we go. Like, yeah. Sorry. I'm flipping through this. There's like origins in here for them. We get more Flash stuff. Like, it's great. The Golden Pharaoh. Oh, Mr. Miracle, Orion, Mr. Freeze. And these are like used as the toys. Like when I was a kid. Oh, the Teen Titans. Yes. Love it. Plastic Man. Again, just Robin and Batman Jr., Robin Jr., what? Superman Jr., Super Juniors. More pudge than muscle, the Super Juniors. There we go. Green Lantern Jr., Flash Jr., Aquaman Jr. Yeah, sorry. This book is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, it's my holy, I wouldn't say it's a holy grail, but it's like, there are books, I'm like, if I could ever find a copy of that, if I won the lottery, if I won the Powerball, that was billions of dollars, whatever, hundreds of millions of dollars, I would retire and I would just travel the world finding my ultimate comic book collection. This is on that list and I have it. It's great. It's just like chalk one off the list. Anyways, that's everything for the end of 2024. I'm going to stack it all up, and it is a lot. It is just massive. Man, what a way to end the year. Anyways, that was a long video. As always, let me know what you think. There's a lot here. I promise you there'll be more coming in 2025 as I keep reading more books. And yeah, as always, send me your jeers, send me your cheers, and I'll see you next time.